She's apparently staying the night at the babysitter's. She's still learning our universe, Jay.
Comically vulnerable.
She literally believes that by asking a normal
I was trying to watch this shit. Come on.
put it on the screen.
It's on the screen. What are you talking? Oh, wait. I'm not sharing the thing with you.
See!
You didn't even realize it until I mentioned it.
I was not at fault.
God's trying to tell you to shut the fuck up.
I was innocent. Yo.
Doggone it, I am too old and too rich for this.
I want you more than anything in the world. So lobotomy for this bullshit. Does it not feel like a hate crime?
Yeah, like I said this before, that this feels like eternal child blackface. They're definitely doing it to humiliate her. I mean, there's no way they don't know the stigma of being a child forever. I mean, like, they know the law that you're not supposed to create a child, turn a child into a vampire. Of course, for this exact reason, you think they think it was, this whole thing was f***ed up.
We've hit a very interesting conflux. In your attempt to queerify blackface, you have successfully created something which is akin to posting your kids and your family on the internet for child predators to whack in the movies. They ain't waste no time with this. They just killed her, hurt her to death. This is worse, because you're humiliating her before you kill her.
Well, you know what I'm about to say.
You nigga.
Oh, we have a replacement for Charleston, and it's worse. What? You're dead. What? Come.
So, explain to the company why the 500th performance of My Baby Loves Windows felt more like a slug.
I'm a fierce vampire trapped in the body of a little girl. I'm reminded of it every night of my existence, buttoning up this dress and singing and smiling while the mortals laugh and point. I relive every condescending look or comment I have ever had to suffer.
We're found in a burning building. What insults did you slog through at your age? The worst thing that technically has happened to your character that both of you share is having been raped by Bruce. And even then, come the fuck on.
And to help you rediscover your passion for Lulu, you'll no longer remove your costume. You'll sleep in it, rehearse in it, feed in it, hunt in it. You'll live with Lulu off stage until she returns to you on stage.
That would just make it harder to wash the costume to get the blood out, you stupid jack. I'm a man, I'm a very smart vampire. Let me be biological evidence that can be put into finding out that we're fucking vampires. If anybody discovers this dress, it's gonna be worse than the famous Jackson Pollock picture. You f***ing.
What was my mother's name?
Grace.
Florence. Grace was my sister.
You don't talk about your mother very much.
No.
I'm a man. I can read your mind. I can feel him in your thoughts. I know you've been lying to me for months. What's my mama's name? Grace? Nigga, come on!
Look, they're a couple now because he's forgetting, like, simple facts about him. But that doesn't work because we're dealing with vampires who can read minds.
You don't have eidetic memory as a vampire simply because you can remember experience. Because I don't think you guys want to get into the idea of, can a vampire have mental illness? I was inside you 5 seconds ago, and now I can't remember your family's names. That's so crazy. I'm so booty drunk, I don't give a f about things.
What we got is great.
Just not a companionship.
Oh, God, how do you manage it? I love you.
I love you.
They can read it as intended. Bluey has now managed his inner dark passenger of his dream Lestat, where he now is interacting with him in a way where he's able to ignore him, but he still addresses him from time to time, even when he is talking to him, which now upgrades to a deeper layer. Is Louis able to think about Lestat in a way where Armand does not hear or does not see these clear reactions? Or is he willing to tolerate it, knowing that he has gotten better at drowning it out and not allowing it to drive him insane to do what he did before, which was murder random citizens? Or, with or without the context, Lestat somehow magically flies in from time to time and just decides to sit in on this weird vampire love triangle where he listens to his two exes talk shit about him and him wire the last ex up like a god wind-up toy.
Were you two the only ones who survived the fire at the theater?
You weren't provided any information about the fire in our archives.
One of my researchers found it in the Beinecke Library in New Haven. She thinks we're working on a book about the post-war reconstruction of Paris. Claudia, in direct violation of the third great law, still journaling.
I wouldn't say that was a bad scene.
Mhm.
Obviously, Sam elevates that scene highly. And then the inclusion of the Talamasca details, which, again, you guys really did not lay into explaining the Talamasca as well as you should have. One of the more overt examples of the clear memory theme being inserted to the story, and then him transitioning away. Again, two old-ass vampires with powers yet to be described. Nigga allowed to reveal information he does not realize he shouldn't have, and they allow it. How are you not dead?
And why aren't you sitting down? You've been standing up throughout like the last couple episodes.
Last episode, that was just my lazy. I'm standing up here because I'm frustrated. Oh, what's that, Carl? Them demonstrating the point that you just made like 15 minutes ago? That's crazy.
Suppose I can't come off haughty. Everyone's fawning over Picasso, but not me. Not Louis Dulac. I'm out in the streets on the barricade with the avant-garde.
You're standing right out of your head.
Damn it! Your voice keeps cutting out. You're not close enough to the microphone.
I don't care if that was CGI. I don't care if it was him lip syncing or he recorded the scene in ADR. That was hilarious.
Agent Droll, I want to test a theory. Say New Orleans
Or buffoon. Anything else you want to say, buffoon?
Besides the really good acting, I think the most telling part of that is that they finally had a speed up effect that the two of us can probably approve of.
Yeah. Very reminiscent of the first film, how they did it.
Between them playing up the element of them now having the coven investigating him, and the whole, I don't know, is it mimicry? Is it he has the ability to absorb information that he sees or hears or touches? Whatever it is, it remains to be seen. The sheer energy in this scene of demonstrating a couple of things that actually clarifies for us some of our concerns and our own criticisms from the last episode. So yes, he does have the ability to make it an instantaneous, I mind control Professor Xavier time stop effect. He has the power to do that, and he can do it instantaneously. And I guess if you're old enough or he doesn't desire you to be frozen, he can choose to not freeze you so he can address you in real time. Really good scene. Actually really good from Louis' actor.
To pass on the, I'm a vampire. I'm out there prowling for the moment. These great shots are taken only to find fucking Gordon Parks fella you put in front of me. Got space.
Carl, you were laughing. You were good at the scene. Yeah, they f***ed it up.
I wasn't inviting Hitler to stay in France. I was inviting a frightened boy to cradle my tits.
Yeah, she said she Hitler?
I don't know.
The donor in the title was my maker. This is Amadeo. He's 20 years here.
Remember when they said that dog lie that Dreamless Stat is a reflection of Louis' innermost thoughts? Why, in the middle of the scene, they are listening to his story inquisitively? Why would Dreamless Stat then trumpishly curl up his arms and say, what kind of version of Lestat are we supposed to assume is taking part of that? Is that Louis saying one thing kindly while thinking something else of him entirely? Or is this Louis' idea of Lestat who's reacting to the words that Armand is saying in the scene as if he would be the version of Lestat that would be responding to this if he were also here in the room?
Also, like, didn't Lestat tell a story about him getting abandoned by Magnus too? He got killed in his story too, so you're thinking, who the f is telling the truth here?
Even if we wanted to just focus on that one point, I find it pedantic that they're taking all this time to set up Armand as being soft and weak, especially set up with the photography scene, and that the contrast of how he was weak in the past to him becoming cruelishly strong in the future, controlling not only humans but also vampires and their perception of time and the memories, has led to him being deceitful and narcissistic to an element I wouldn't say worse than Lestat, but a different kind than Lestat. What would you say is the most typical quality that is quintessential of Lestat's character from season 1?
Hang on. Yeah, I'll get it.
It's not a trick question. I'm asking you your own thing.
I would say it's the rage.
Like the intolerant and completely belligerent levels of bastardized rage. The sheer contrast between his serenity and his tranquil fury and his unabashed bloviation of violence. That was probably the most telling part of the characterization that both of us wholly beat to a sense. The degree of it was always to a fault, right? Like, remember when he fingered the guy in the neck? The vocalist from the opera that he bled with Louis sometime after he had changed him and had been living with him for about some odd years, where he had to pose him as his assistant because Jim Crow rules. No one would have believed he was his lover.
You gave a Negro rights?
His reaction of killing that opera singer was because he was a note off. He was flat when he should have been sharp. With the added context that we get from seeing, oh, Armand, he was entranced with him in his performance. And it was because of him founding this theater troupe of vampires that he has what he has. In context of his character, makes sense. Even if you want to say he's cruel, his violence has purpose. Louis's sin is, I guess, pride. And I would say, in my opinion, Stat's sin is maybe one equal of lust with wrath. What would you say is Armand's biggest 7 deadly sin?
Manipulation, because I think that's what it's leading to.
It depends, because his character is being pulled in 2 different directions. He wants to be with Louis, so he's greedy in the sense that he's not doing what is supposed to be his job as the maker and as the leader of this coven. I would probably say his biggest sin would definitely be pride. There's so much that just happened just now. There's some really good stuff that happened. There's some really shitty stuff that just happened. And while it percolates my mind to think about it, guys, come on. 2 steps forward, 10 steps back.
You got blood on your...
I bled through.
In the series of things that we definitely shouldn't say, do not have an actress when she's bleeding through the gauze that they had to use at the time to prevent their periods. Definitely don't say, oh, I'm bleeding through. How did you niggas get worse than Louis almost eating a baby?
I'm leaving a trail.
This is me in pain. The show is breaking me. Fuck breaking me.
You just want to watch the basketball.
15 minutes and I could pretend.
It's a degrading 15 minutes. I like to walk off stage in the middle of it, but I
You
don't.
may not want to do this in public.
I like to pounce on the audience members, but I don't.
Stop talking about this in public.
Now it's your turn to get butt broken.
You run to
I let you whine.
You run to the dick. It's like you run to the hip. You run to the lips. It's they take your shit. Yes. We're such unserious people.
What is vampire life but poor decisions stacked next to better ones?
Louis!
Speaking of poor decisions.
Louis!
Isn't this Louis' subconscious?
It's a curse, I swear to God. It's the curse of the funny niggas.
They want him to be the sassy gay, but at the same time, it's like they have to keep up with, oh, it's just his subconscious. Okay, so subconsciously, that means Louis thinks that she is a mistake. Oh, that's not cool.
You could trust Armand.
What about me and you?
I didn't want to wreck that for you, and this whole time,
Chasing it.
he hasn't betrayed our trust.
You gotta be chasing dick.
Does it sound like him? I forgot. Love makes you stupid. Picked another one over me.
You picked the coven! You left me! Go sit in your choice, sister. Go sit in it.
Louis, why are you talking like a regular modern day nigga? Where the fuck did this sister girl bullshit come from, nigga? You're from before Jim Crow. You don't talk like that here. Also, God, the scene was mid. At least the diction there was funny. You and him and you fucking him. True.
Drain them in heat.
Now, I do have to give them applause here. The scene does have rain, and it's very clear that there is rain falling on the black actor, but they did make good. I don't know if it's masking or if it's just a rain sound effect, and then they're masked him into the scene afterwards with after image, but there isn't a drop of rain on it. Granted, I can see the sweat on Sam's brow, but good effects.
Right here. So your name would always.
Not bad. Also, if you noticed, whatever they were doing to keep him from not getting wet, they stopped doing. So as he started fading out, he got wet.
You don't understand the meaning of your own story.
I lost time. Things got a little heated.
With a boy. Things got heated with a boy.
FBI, open up!
Yes, that is the end of us. Go.
I want to know what happened between us.
I'm remembering it now.
So Jay, they're about to make Daniel Malloy gay. Are you ready for this?
I mean, I think he was already gay in the book. I mean, he wasn't in the movie. But at the very end, it was implied that he was probably going to be following Lestat around, so.
I mean, by bisexual at all accounts, but when I say gay, I mean in gayifying him. He's
You
getting
make
hit
it-
with the queer beams. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's just
Outside.
glimmers of hope in a pile of.
It's like my love and hate relationship with League of Legends in terms of MOBAs. Which on my hand, the obvious question people would ask is, so why do you play it? 12 years of experience plus paid tenure work when I was in college. It's kind of hard to look at now. That was a lot of money. You hope that people will learn to get it together. You got burnt by the fire. Put your hand in the fire again. Stop! Why'd you put your hand back in the fire again? You! I just want you to work with me. No! I'll never give you what you want! This directly benefits you if you do what I say. No! I want to do it my way! We see the potential in a moment. The curse of the niggas happens, and you don't just take 2 steps forward and 10 steps back. You take 2 steps forward and you burn the house down. You salt and feather the fields and foundations, and then afterwards, you come back with a scene with Sam, and it's like, hey, Colin, I'm about to do a funny line. I'm gonna give you hope again. It's worse than an off-again, on-again rebound relationship with an ex. Oh my god. You can't keep emotionally manipulating us like this. Will they figure this shit out by episode 5? I don't know. It's now, instead of allowing the framing device to be a framing device, now they're making Molloy's character gay. Quipping Jew! He's got some secrets too.
I have a feeling this could be really interesting to do, but I feel like Armand made up Molloy's entire life post that interview. Like he wasn't really married, because they always keep cutting back to these scenes where he's like saying shit to him for some reason. I'm like, what the f-? But I ended up, of course, figuring it out that, like, it sounds like he's feeding him information. I think they make it seem like he's maybe reading his mind and then pulling out stuff from his past he's done, but I think he's feeding him information.
What is real? What is not? Was Daniel a successful author that became an old, queer, constantly eccentric, and constantly doubting Jew that is a stand-in for the cynics and critics of the audience that are judging the show? And is this the show writer's way of bringing those people to task by saying, you think you're clever, but you don't know everything we'll do? To which I'd have to say, suck my nuts. But then on the other hand, if the things that are being said with all of these scenes where Molloy is getting these weird headaches, which could be symptomatic of his memories being with by Armand. This is him inserting memories in his head or extracting memories from his head. How much of what Molloy has been doing is true and real? Since Lestat's character is dead, Armand is now taking on the Lestat role here. So, was there some kind of love triangle that happened between Molloy and Lestat that then leads to Louis having to put his foot down here and figure out exactly what kind of manipulative monster that he is?
I hope they just don't ruin this shit. I hope it doesn't get, back to season 1 head assery. Because season 5, that's going to be the transition into, like the third act of the season. And like that's crunch time where we really see what the second season has to offer.
Episode 5 is going to be a transition point where the last 3 episodes got to bring it back in. The rising action and falling action of the potential betrayal of what leads up to the fire of the theater. There's a lot of questions there. Because it's like that scene where Louis mastered the fire gift and can now do pyrokinesis. Did Louis start the fire? Because Louis and Armand both have the fire gift. Did Armand
I just realized that. Damn. They gave them both fire powers just to explain that. When in like the movie, Louis just burnt the place down with some kerosene and a candle.
He trapped them inside of their sleeping dens. He made sure they couldn't escape the fire. He watched them all burn to death as revenge for killing her and her companion. Then he came to him and said, it's over. I feel like, in my opinion, this show will best be safe if it's given the Lucifer treatment. They need to be bought out by somebody who will give them the ability to get the off of the watershed rules of regular cable so they can actually stretch their legs and tell the story that they want.
And they need more money because AMC has been notorious for nickel and diming on production, which is what I'm guessing is wrong with some of these special effects.
Because sometimes they're good.
When they look more practical, they look good because practical, of course, will be cheaper than using CGI. So whenever they use CGI, they have to nickel and dime that because AMC's not going to foot the bill for that, especially when the first season failed. He said, we don't know what the ratings are looking. Well, maybe I can look that up.
12 seconds later.
They're doing this
these are terrible.
Yeah. You see it too? Yeah.
Yeah, this is worse than Batwoman, bro.
This is worse than Mayfair Witches.
Damn. Episode 3 is like a 0.194, which means only 194,000 people watched it.
Uh-huh. If you compare from the first season episode to the first season premiere, you niggas lost more than 2/3 of the audience.
Yeah, they lost 73%.
That's the problem with the show. People are waiting for you to do something that keeps them here, but you niggas keep letting them down. I don't know. I think y'all gonna have to have her scissoring with the Ashkenazi in order to keep views. You niggas gotta do something. And I don't even think what you would do will be able to save your momentum. Like, the fag haggery is not gonna get them across the line. Because if they're looking for like cult classic status, those people who are gonna say, oh my god, you guys were failed. They didn't do enough for the show. Did they? Could they? Would they?
A lot of these fans, I think, are probably going to call this season boring because it wasn't as garbage as the first season. So, you know, people like us, we will say it was better because they cleaned up all that, most of the bullshit, which is what they should have done. But all these people who were like yearning for the fag haggery and the social commentary, that's why the ratings are dropping off.
So I think that's all we got.
Yep, that's it for us, guys. Bye. Good night.